Good morning, everybody. Mr. Jamnik here, coming back to you live about probability and can we describe the likelihood of an event happening based on the given information. The previous video that I showed you guys is, we talked about Skittles and picking the color, or card game or dice game. There's so many different ways we're going to do it, but I just want to go back over a couple of things for you guys to actually see. So in my cup, you can see my beautiful dice, right? So here's a question we're going to say. So just to show you guys, we have, the one side, we got 5. Oh, sorry, we got 6. We got the 3. What else are we missing? We got the 4, and we got the 2. Okay, so this is why when you have a visual, and even if you didn't have something like this to use, again, you can look at something on the computer. They can show you the 3D model of it, or you can draw it. Okay, anything you need to do, or you could, bunch of possibilities. And that's why I want you guys to truly use your imagination when you have to think about this stuff. So here's what we have. Okay, so think about this. Okay, so again, use that I can statement. I can describe the likelihood of an event. Okay, so rolling an even number. So if I had this in my hand, right, I want to roll an even number. So if you're playing the game with your friends, so if I look at this, how many total numbers are on here? We know that there's a total of 6 numbers. Okay, that's not the answer though. We want to find what's the probability of rolling an even number. So how many even numbers are on this, right? If we look at it, we flip it around, we know that 2 is even, we know that 4 is even, and we know that 6 is even. Those are the only numbers out of the total of the dice, right? So if I'm asking you to tell me what the probability has, so just envision, I'm taking this, right, and I want to roll it. So what's going to be the probability that one of these numbers would come up? Okay, so again, here's a little visual of the dice. So if I drop it here, and I pick it up, I have a 2, right? And if I keep doing it, I'm going to keep getting, the same understanding as what's going to be the total number that I'm rolling, which is a 6. I need to find out what's the probability that I would land on an even number. So there's how many evens? 1, 2, 3. So again, we know we're getting 6 total numbers, and I want to land on at least an even number. So you have 1. You're not going to do 1 of 6, right? Because you still have the 4 and 6. So how many total are here? There's 3. So it's going to be 3 of 6. So that's the chance. So if I roll it, I know that it could be a 2, a 4, or 6 because there's 3 chances. It could be because it's even. But then if I roll it again, it could be a chance it could be odd. But you don't include those numbers. Okay, you're only focusing on what the likelihood that you're focusing on that the event could happen. So rolling an even number. So again, I wrote out there's a total number of 6 that we're working on. And then out of those 6, there's only 3 total numbers that are even. So if I roll this, I know that I have 3 of 6 chance of getting an even number. So there's many different ways you can answer the question based on what the topic is that you're focusing on. So I'm going to leave this dice here for a second, and I want to erase this for you guys. Okay, let's look at the next part. Let's see. Rolling a number less than 6. All right, so same thing. Same question, thinking about the I can, thinking about, putting yourself into that situation with the dice that we're using. So what's the probability that I would roll a number less than 6? So the first thing you're going to do is I'm visually looking, right? I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, I know there's a total of 6 different sides that it has, and I need to find the probability of it landing on a number less than 6. So the main thing is, again, rolling a number less than 6. So how many total sides does the dice have? So it has 6, right? So we know that. We could put of, because that's going to tell us what the probability of. So how many numbers are less than 6? So write it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. We know that it has a total of 6, but the question says if I roll this, what's going to be able to take this, and I'm going to roll it and get a number less than 6. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be 5 of 6. So if I take a number and I want to roll it, I want to get less than 6. I'm going to roll my dice, go like this. Okay, and look, I wound up getting a 3. I keep doing that, but the question's saying, I'll roll it again. I got a 2. Okay, so you can keep doing that. Eventually you will get a 6, but the question is not saying that. It's saying, what's the probability of rolling a number less than 6? So the probability is taking the 6 sides of this and knowing that there's 5 sides less than 6. So the answer would be 5 of 6. Okay, and then the last example I'll give you guys. Erase this part, erase this part. Rolling let's do rolling an odd number. I'll use this, okay? So what is the probability that I'm going to roll an odd number? So before I start to write it, we did a bunch of examples with the dice already. Think about what it could be. Think about in your head, what's the probability if I take a dice, I roll it, I'm going to get an odd number. So we know there's a total of how many sides of the dice? We know there's a total of 6, right? So with the 6, how many of those? So if I read out, so you could do this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so here's all the numbers. Okay, out of these 6 numbers, how many are what? You're focusing on the key word, which is odd. So odd, odd, odd. And then how many we have? 3, right? This is even, you don't use, even, don't use, even, don't use. So the probability of me rolling this and getting an odd number will be 3 of 6, okay? It's very simple when if you guys draw the diagram, and especially if you do have something that you can use. So when I'm doing this, and we're going to move on to different activities, throughout the week and doing different lessons, showing you guys, we're going to do stuff with the dice. You can do stuff with like a deck of cards. I have a lot of like interactive virtual stuff that I'm going to upload for you guys on the assignments that you're going to do. But this is how we're starting off Module 12, which is understanding the probability of something happening. So just like I said, here's a great example to end off the lesson. Look in here, okay? Let me show you guys. We got blue, orange, red, green, okay? Look at all these colors we got. Blue, see them all? Okay, I'm putting them in. So we got multiple colors inside here, right? So if I said right now there's, I believe, there's 14 dice in here, right? So if I wanted to reach in and say, what's the probability of me choosing, blue? Obviously, you would need to know how many colors, are going to be in before you do that. But if I just said, I'm going to reach in and say, what's the probability of me choosing a blue? I'm going to say, oh, okay, well, you have to base it on the colors that you're going to have, just like you would do candy or anything else that you're thinking of that you might pull out. Because if I just gave you this clothes and I said there's a certain amount of dice in here that are different color, it may be hard for you to understand the probability. But if we count it out and said there's 5 blue, 6 green, 2 orange, then if I said, you come in and I know the total is 14, and you pull out, the orange, you should be able to differentiate, how many the probability is going to be that I'll pull that out. Or how many, if I pull out 2, is going to be orange, and so forth. So these are different things you can think of when you're focusing on the probability and the likelihood of something happen, right? Just like if you're in class and, if there's a total of 20 students in the class, and just like when I do cold call, right? If I do cold call, what's the probability that I'm going to choose your name? Well, if there's 20 sticks in the bucket and each have your names on it, if I randomly grab one out, the chance of you getting picked is 1 out of what? 1 out of 20. I only have one student of your name with the rest of your classmates. So if I reached in and pulled out 1, you have that 1 chance out of 20 that you're going to get picked. So that's a different thing with cold call. Now, it's the same process when you think about probability. If I put your name in twice, it raises the probability that you're going to get called. If I put it in 3 times or 4 times or 5 times, out of 20 students, the probability of me grabbing one is at a higher likelihood than if it was just in there once out of 20. So there's so many different ways to interpret this of understanding how to get the probability. So we have the dice, we have the 6 that we use for cold call is a great example. Think about candy, jelly beans, Skittles, Airheads, all these different things. I mean, you reach in, you definitely have usually a favorite color or a favorite flavor. So if you reached in, you go, oh, I didn't want that one, knowing hopefully you have something else left. I use a great example because I know for some reason, like people with Starburst, they love the color pink. So, if you buy a package of Starburst, you're always hoping that if there's, 12 in the pack, the probability of all of them or a couple of them being pink, is the unknown. But that's something you can look at saying, well, I bought 3 packs and I'm getting the same thing. So the probability is that it's going to maintain the same chance of getting a pink when you buy a pack of Starburst, just like anything else when you're doing like the dice. So we'll keep working on the different process, and now that we're doing the probability, like I said, keep checking Google Classroom. I have some really cool interactive games that go over skills and standards based on finding the likelihood of probability using all different things. And even if you don't have this stuff in your house, you can take index card, piece of paper, construction paper. You can cut out a deck of cards. You can make a couple numbers. You guys can even make this with the cube. And I'll demonstrate how you can take the cube and make that with some tape or glue or even a stapler. We'll do the activity with some candy and just some things around the house that you could do too that I'll ask you guys to share out eventually about what's the likelihood. So keep in mind, use these as a good reference, the videos. And again, on your student workbook, there's some great examples and guides of what I'm demonstrating to you to how you can apply that to different ways, defining the likelihood of an event happening. So keep that process in, keep doing a great job, and check back later in the week, and we'll have some more videos to share about some probability. All right, have a great rest of the day.